Honourable Speaker, Mazinele Sifuba, Honourable Premier Masisi Ntombela, members of the Free State Executive Council, members of the Free State Provincial Legislature, members of Parliament, executive mayors and councillors, Director General of the province, heads of respective departments, chief executive officers and leaders of our public and private institutions, municipal managers, special guests, parents and educators and learners from the schools that reached the finals of the 2020 Provincial Essay Competition, namely Sechaba Semaketse High School from Botshabelo, Samuel Johnson Secondary School from Zastron, Kananelo School, Secondary School from Kroonstad, and Lekulong High School from Bloemfontein. All invited schools from the Karib district, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, Dumelang, Molweni, Goeiemiddag, good afternoon. Allow me to begin by appreciating the opportunity afforded by this august House to table our 2020 appropriation bill alongside the Provincial Economic Review and Outlook called PERO, the 2020 estimates of the provincial revenues and expenditure, and the People's Guide to the Free State Budget. Today, I will present a high-level view of the challenges facing our South African and provincial economy and the steps we intend to take with this budget to mitigate expenditure risks and to improve economic growth. MECs from the Executive Council will unpack detailed plans during their respective budget votes. Honourable Speaker, let us join hands in congratulating our President, His Excellency, Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, for being elected as the chairperson of the African Union. South Africans and the people of the Free State, here is a portal for job opportunities, continental supply chains, and access to markets of more than 1 billion consumers across the continent. The first operational phase has been concluded. South Africa will continue to advance protocols on trade regulations and policies to ensure the benefit of our current account through our reimagined industrial strategy. Civil society is requested to participate in the development of next phases of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and therefore we urge you to submit your inputs on the Trade and Industry website. Honourable Speaker, I am honoured that I've been tasked by the Honourable Premier to lead the African Peer Review Mechanism for the province. This structure is led by the Minister of Public Service and Administration, Honourable Senzo Mchunu, which is aimed at improving governance, the action or manner of governing a state, organization, or country on the continent by driving the need for African solutions to African problems. The peer review process has 4 thematic areas: democracy and political governance, economic governance and management, corporate governance, and broad-based sustainable socio-economic development. Our participation in the above structures positions our country well for good governance, free trade, economic growth, and integration, as well as peace and stability. On the global economy, Honourable Speaker, through you, ladies and gentlemen, the global economy is presenting us with major challenges in the upcoming year. The world economy is projected to recover from a growth rate of 2.9% in 2019 to 3.3% in 2020. The greatest impediments to global growth in 2019 were the escalation of the trade war and its subsequent negative effect on manufacturing, global supply chains, and global trade. On the South African economy, Honourable Speaker, the GDP results by Stats SA on Tuesday, the 3rd of March 2020, further reaffirms that South Africa is currently in a technical recession. After contracting by 0.8% and 1.4% in the third and the fourth quarter of 2019, respectively. For the whole of 2019, the country's economy grew by only 0.2%. The weak growth is likely to add pressure on government finances. We cannot underestimate the negative impact of the coronavirus on South Africa's real economy, as it is yet to be felt. However, if China's economic growth slows to 4.5% as predicted, its demand for exports, mostly commodities, from South Africa is also likely to decline. As a result, the flow of goods and services between China and South Africa and China would be the main transmission channel through which South Africa's real economy will be affected. The effect would therefore be detrimental on an already volatile South African economy. These developments had adverse impact on transfers or budgets to provinces. Accordingly, the Free State budget is reduced by 1.429 billion. 1.429 billion over the next 3 years. Honourable Premier, this tight fiscal environment, both at a national and at a provincial level, calls for a need to collaborate and work together with all stakeholders. Honourable Speaker, we should not despair that there is hope following the pronouncement of the Minister of Finance during the table of the national budget on the 26th of February 2020, which highlights the following: strengthening the macroeconomic framework to deliver certainty, transparency, and lower borrowing costs, focusing on spending on education, health, and social development, modernizing network industries, and restructuring our state-owned enterprises, opening markets to trade with the rest of the continent, implementing a reimagined industrial strategy, lowering the costs of doing business, and focusing on job creation sectors such as agriculture and tourism. Honourable Speaker, this is the strategy that the Free State Province will also support and embrace to continue to stimulate much needed economic growth in our country. On the provincial economy, coming to our own provincial economy, Honourable Speaker, the Free State economy has struggled to recover from the 2009 recession, growing by an average of 1.5% since. Further, recessions were recorded in 2015 at negative 0.3% and 2016 at negative 0.3% respectively. Weak economic performance has translated into poor labour market outcomes. Unemployment remains a major challenge facing our province, and the burden of unemployment in this province falls mostly on Africans, women and youth. We will continue to prioritize industries as follows: infrastructure investment, agriculture, mining and manufacturing, tourism, small to medium and micro enterprises, education, skills and health. On growth, led by the Economic and Infrastructure Cluster, National Government has committed 100 billion to the Infrastructure Fund. This includes new funding, new guarantees, and repackaging of existing projects. The Infrastructure Fund will increase private sector investment in public infrastructure and continue to perform high economic growth, productivity, and employment creation. The Fund's implementation unit, housed within the Development Bank of Southern Africa, aims to facilitate and speed up the developmental of projects. Honourable Premier, I must warn our departments and entities that there is a rigorous and stringent criteria when dealing and deciding with these projects. To be included in the Infrastructure Fund pipeline, in line with the Integrated Delivery Management System or model, IDMS, and consequently, all infrastructure departments and entities are invited to participate in this budget facility with a due date of the 30th of April 2020. In line with the guidelines as prescribed by National Treasury, Honourable Speaker, the Free State Provincial Government will be spending 4.538 billion in the next financial year, disaggregated as follows per district. I'm hoping that they could show the slide on the board, which shows that Fezile Dabi district will be allocated 681 million. Mangaung Metro will be allocated 862 million. Ledwele Putswa district will be allocated 545 million. Thabo Mofokeng will be allocated 590 million. Karib district will be allocated 318 million. The remaining 1.542 billion is mainly on routine and unplanned maintenance of state assets within the province. Honourable Premier, in terms of improving the intergovernmental coordination and infrastructure investment, as well as the district development model, Our sister department, COCTA, is at the forefront of leading the coordination and implementation of our provincial district development models with relevant departments including Provincial Treasury, the Office of the Premier, and all municipalities. The district model is aimed at optimizing expenditure by eliminating duplications and focusing on developmental integrated plans as per the district for streamlined and efficient service delivery models. Honourable Speaker, I'd like to now touch on the public-private partnership. National Treasury began reviewing the public-private partnership regulations and guidelines. The review of the PPP framework is a key reform as most of the blended projects will be in partnership between the public and private sector. We are confident that this will unlock several infrastructure developmental projects that will create the much needed jobs and increase the province's capacity to generate own revenue. Speaker, it is important that the province should fast track the implementation of the following PPP projects, amongst others: student accommodation, the provincial government building, the legislature building, the N3 Villiers Trauma Centre, the Parys Hospital, the psychiatric hospital. Honourable Speaker, on land, our Honourable Premier has announced during her State of the Province address, and I'd like to quote her in the speech, "Land represents our existence, culture and prosperity. The Land Use Task Team has finalized packages of available land parcels for distribution. Of the 4,902 land parcels, 2,628 have been earmarked to be transferred to rightful beneficiaries. Already conveyances have been appointed for this purpose." On water and electricity, Honourable Speaker, the province acknowledges the dire challenges our province is facing with regards to water provision in various parts of our province. The Premier has also emphasized in her State of the Province address that by December 2019, over 305 million rands have been spent through municipal infrastructure grants to fund water, sanitation, roads and stormwater projects. In ensuring that there is adequate rapid response to these challenges, governance structures are created, which is to promote collaboration with provincial government, municipalities, the Free State Water Boards, and the National Department of Water and Sanitation. We have created a provincial joint tactical task team on water led by the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Honourable Premier, Honourable Speaker, on reimagined industrial strategy and investment promotion, our Maluti Apufung Special Economic Zone remains a catalytic project for the province. Madam Speaker, the MAP SEZ is expected to drive economic activities for the province on key sector priorities such as manufacturing, agro-processing, IT, food processing and automotive. The Executive Council has approved an establishment of a new provincial entity that would be responsible for governance and management of the MAP SEZ, which will report to DESTIA in order to lessen the administrative burden and fast-track decision-making. The Department of Trade and Industry, Honourable Premier, Honourable Speaker, will continue to fund the rehabilitation of both industrial parks in the province, Botshabelo and Putarichaba. While the next tranche of rehabilitation funding is set to be released during the new financial year, the final phase of Botshabelo Industrial Park will be completed by the end of this year. Investments, Honourable Speaker, Renogen in Ledjuleputswa will yield job opportunities and improve our provincial economy, who has committed investment to over 700 million, and developing natural gas in Virginia, which will create over 400 jobs in this province. Coca-Cola Beverages of South Africa has committed to reinvest in its operations 80 million, which will contribute towards increasing its manufacturing capacity, thereby contributing to job creation and enhancing the quality of life. On governance, Honourable Speaker, led by the governance cluster, we'd like to reinforce and recommit cost containment measures in the province. Honourable Speaker, as a province, we have generally been supportive of all the cost containment measures introduced by National Treasury since 2008-2009. Cost containment measures are fully institutionalized across provincial departments and entities in the province. One of the challenges from a budget perspective remains the compensation of employees, which is, to date, it hovers around 62% of our provincial budget. Our continuous efforts in ensuring that the province's public finances are sustainable, it remains critical for all provincial departments and entities to continue to reduce inefficiencies within the system. We need to limit the growth of the provincial wage bill by managing growth in personnel numbers and spending. Combination of modifications to cost of living adjustments, pay progression, and other benefits, as well as to take advantage of early retirement with extra caution. Our target is to reduce the wage bill to below 60% in the provincial budget. On supply chain reforms, the Public Procurement Bill, Honourable Speaker, Cabinet has approved the publication of the Public Procurement Bill for public comment, which is setting in motion legislation for procurement strategies that support government socio-economic objectives. It is important that we must take deliberate steps to use procurement as a tool to assist in the transforming of the economy and closing some of the gaps that exist from the unequal society of the past. To advance economic opportunities for previously disadvantaged designated groups, specifically Black women, youth, people with disabilities, cooperatives, military veterans, small businesses, and locally produced goods. It is important that we must give progressive inputs and comments on this bill. This bill opens an opportunity for us to influence the amendment of the defragmented procurement pieces of legislations, policies, regulations, and institution and instruction notes. It also offers us an opportunity to formulate regulations that promote local economic development. Irregular expenditure. Honourable Premier, Honourable Speaker, the Free State Province is committed to ensuring that irregular expenditure is reduced and ultimately eliminated in the province. The province has initiated an intervention project for the investigation of irregular expenditure incurred in previous years. The project started with investigations in the following departments and entity: Department of Health, Education, Agriculture and Rural Development, Human Settlement, and Free State Gambling, Liquor and Tourism Authority. About 3,000 cases have been finalized since March 2019 to date for the above-mentioned department and entity, and relevant information was provided to the departments to complete the process. 307 cases thus far, with a value of 517 million, must be removed as they do not meet the definition of irregular expenditure. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, coming to the order of today, the fiscal framework of the province. The 2021 budget tabled by the Minister of Finance clearly outlined the economic constraints that impacts the budget for the medium-term expenditure framework period ahead. Key features outlined and include projected revenue of 1.58 trillion against the projected expenditure of 1.95 trillion. Madam Speaker, there are measures put in place to ensure fiscal sustainability of our country. Key amongst them is the reduction of 156.1 billion on non-tax expenditure over the next 3 years. These developments affect both local and provincial spheres of government and inevitably impact on services. We further agree that sound macroeconomic framework is the precursor for growth. Honourable Speaker, all of the above requires prudent fiscal management and instilling of efficiency in spending. As a consequence of reduction of non-interest expenditure, our equitable share is reduced by 1.429 billion over the medium-term expenditure period. The cuts on equitable share are mainly as a result of provincial equitable share formula, data updates, implementation of the fiscal consolidation, and changes on the MTEF projected inflation guiding planned increases for compensation. Despite our current financial and fiscal position, provinces are given an opportunity to provide inputs to the Finance and Fiscal Commission on the formula of equitable share and distribution of budgets to provinces by July 2020. In terms of the medium-term expenditure framework allocations for 2020, Madam Speaker, as members of the Executive Council, through the Honourable Premier under leadership, we are resilient, collective, and as a collective, we use our collective wisdom and commitment towards fiscal prudence. Allocative and technical efficiency as well as innovative approaches will ensure the 2020 MTF budget, as we present today, brings hope to the people of the province. The budget we present today emanates from various and rigorous consultation processes nationally, provincially. It draws discussions from a consensus amongst others, National Technical Commission on Finance, budget councils, budget forums, cabinet meetings, premiers and MECs responsible for finance. These consultations, Madam Speaker, at the provincial level included our provincial medium-term expenditure hearings, the national benchmarking exercise, which is chaired by National Treasury and the Executive Council. Honourable Speaker, I will now turn my attention to the 2020 MTF allocations per department. The details of the allocations are set out per vote in the 2021 estimates of provincial revenue and expenditure in the 2020-21 appropriation bill. The provincial fiscal framework amounts to 125.687 billion rand over the 2020 medium-term expenditure framework. This budget is divided as follows: 39.504 billion in 2021 financial year, 41.457 billion in 2021 and 22 financial year, and 43.628 billion in the 2022-23 financial year. Allow me briefly, Honourable Speaker, to disaggregate these allocations per department. Equitable share. On the social sector, Honourable Premier, Honourable Speaker, the social cluster accounts for 30 billion of our total fiscus, which is 74.4% of the total allocation. We are mindful of the fact that the share of the social sector needs to improve considering the challenges that must be addressed by the sector. On education, Honourable MEC Mahwe, our matric achievements makes us one of the leading and best provinces in the country. We take pride in the achievements of the class of 2019 and enjoin the class of 2020 to do more and raise the bar for the class of 2021. The Department of Education is allocated 15.964 billion in the 2020-2021 financial year, 17.023 billion in the 2021-2022 financial year, and 17.945 billion in the 2022-2023 financial year. Over the medium-term expenditure framework, the department's budget is estimated to spend 50.933 billion. The budget for education grows by an average of 6.5% over the medium-term expenditure framework, and this growth is against the projected inflation of 4.7% over the MTF. The budget makes provision for the following: National School Nutrition Program, Norms and Standards in Schools, Learner Transport Program, Teacher Support Material, School Connectivity, School Hostels, Sanitary Dignitary Project, Matric Support Programs, Hey Maths, Education Infrastructure Program, School Connectivity, and Learners with Profound Intellectual Disabilities. On the Department of Health, the department is allocated 1.473 billion in the 2020-21 financial year, 1.502 billion in 21-22, and 1.572 billion in the 22-23 financial year. Thus, in this MTF ahead, departments will be spending a total of 4.548 billion on the following priorities: appointment of social workers in the province, gender-based violence and STI, victim empowerment, early childhood development, Office of the Rights of Children, operational costs for substance abuse treatment center in Botshabelo, Honourable Speaker, the budget includes 72.656 million allocated over the medium-term expenditure period, which is earmarked for non-profit organisations' court judgment. The Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation. The budget allocation for this department, Honourable Speaker, totals 2.411 billion over the MTF. It's divided as follows: 770.429 million in 2021, 806.159 million in 21-22, and 834.678 million in the outer year. This budget caters for, amongst others, arts and culture, EPWP program, sporting codes, photographers, community media and infrastructure development, which includes construction of the National Training Centre and Charles Mopedi Stadium. On the economic and infrastructure cluster, Honourable Speaker and Premier, the 2020 MTF budget process was quite rigorous. We still continue to transform the economy and creation of jobs, investing in education, skills revolution and health, social wage, spatial development, human settlements and local government, social cohesion and safe communities, building a capable, ethical and developmental state, and a better Africa, better world. The allocation to this department is as followed: 3.950 billion over the medium-term expenditure framework ahead. The budget per financial year is as follows: 1.274 billion in 2021, 1.312 billion in 2021-22, and 1.363 billion in the outer year. This includes 138 million allocated over the MTF and specifically earmarked for the demolition and replacement of 2-roomed houses and top-up for the construction of military veteran houses. Honourable Speaker, on public works and infrastructure, it is still key to job creation and growth, and the province plans here to spend 13.45 billion on infrastructure over the 2020 MTF period ahead. The Department of Public Works and Infrastructure is the implementing agent and is central in ensuring that the province implements catalytic projects effectively and efficient manner that derives value for our money spent. Congratulations to MEC Kaloy on this successful piloting of the water. On police, roads and transport, Honourable Speaker, the centrality of our province gives us a competitive advantage over other provinces. It realizes economic benefits that comes with the geographic allocation of our province to use effectively and maintain our road infrastructure. The Department of Police, Roads and Transport in this regard is vital and must be supported by all key stakeholders. Congratulations, Honourable Mashinini, on obtaining the #1 spot in the country on the least fatality rates by road accidents in the province. Honourable Speaker, the department is allocated an amount of 3.015 billion in the 2021 to 2.895 billion in 21-22 financial year and 3.018 billion over the 22-23 financial year. The budget mainly provides for road infrastructure investments, subsidy for public transport users, oversight and promotion of community policing and transport regulation and operations. Above all of that, the budget caters for revenue related to cash in transit, post office, and we must once again commend your department, MEC, for the 67% own provincial revenue correction through your department. Agriculture and rural development. Madam Speaker, the Free State has a competitive advantage when it comes to agriculture. We must all work together to enhance the potential of the sector and strive towards ensuring food security and remains at the center of fighting poverty. Congratulations, MEC Bulwani, on the land care commonage development in 11 towns and the Tabanchu irrigation schemes. The department will receive 814.063 million in the 2021 financial year, 854.1.02 million in 21-22, and 903.247 million in the 22-23 financial year. Economic, small business development, tourism and environmental affairs. Congratulations, Honourable MEC Mohale, for your continued efforts in partnering with civil society, NGOs in the environmental space and private sector in the pursuit to stimulate our provincial economy. The department is allocated 2.014 billion over the medium-term expenditure framework to further implement its mandate of growing the Free State economy. The budget is disaggregated as follows: 656.6 million in 2021, 662.0 million in 21-22, and 695.7 million in 22-23. Honourable Speaker, let me touch on transfers to public entities. In 2021, the province is allocating 115.253 million to Free State Gambling, Liquor and Tourism Authority for operational and irregularity purposes. I must also indicate that this entity, through its regulatory framework, collected revenues of more than 65 million for the province in 2018-2019 financial year. The revenue from FSGLTA is estimated to total 216 million over the next 3 years. The Free State Development Corporation will receive 26 million in the 2021 financial year, and the allocation includes transfers to Maluti Apufung Special Economic Zone. The institutions and departments at the core and the center of government with regards to governance are the Free State Legislature, the Office of the Premier, Provincial Treasury, and the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Honourable Premier, we will further allocate 2.5 million towards the realignment of the Free State Growth and Development Strategy. Your emphasis, Honourable Premier, on the Fourth Industrial Revolution reiterates that the Free State Province, like any large network organisation, is vulnerable to IT security threats. Our processes within the province will deliver a Free State SOC that will be staffed and carefully appoint ICT graduates to support the challenges that we receive on the security network. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Honourable Speaker, our government has a resolve to enhance integrated planning amongst the 3 spheres of government. Our sister department is at the forefront of the district development model. Congratulations, Honourable Ngangisa, on the recently approved water and electricity master plans for Maluti Apufung under the Municipal Infrastructure Grant. This department is allocated 462.922 million in 2021, 473.855 million in 21-22, and 492.276 million in 22-23. The budget addresses the following priorities, which is clean audit program, municipal support program, establishment of water laboratories in the municipalities, and it also further provides support for the House of Traditional Leaders. Honourable Premier, it is also reflected an amount of 220 million that has been set aside by national government to assist Maluti Apufung municipality to deal with their crisis. We'd like to thank the national government for that support. I will discuss the budget tips later. There are a few wonderful budget tips for COCTA that will be in the next session of today through the Honourable Speaker. On Provincial Treasury, we still provide an oversight role and a governance role in the province. With that said, and our partnerships, we then are allocated as Provincial Treasury with an amount of 346.615 million in the 2021 financial year, 363.143 million in the 21-22 financial year, and 382.974 million in the 22-23 million year. In the 22-23 financial year. It caters for sustainable and prudent resource management, strengthening our financial governance, municipal financial management, and asset and liability management. The Free State Legislature, Honourable Speaker, our provincial legislature as an arm of the state remains at the heart of institutionalization of accountability within the public sector. This oversight role of this august House is related to committees, which is central to the limited public resources, which indeed yields better tangible service to our people. Congratulations to you, Honourable Speaker, and all the members of the Provincial Legislature. Indeed, your strict oversight work executed by our activist Provincial Legislature continues to strengthen the political governance and accountability levels to the people of our province. This legislature is allocated 290.074 million in the 2021 financial year, 296.096 million in the 21-22 financial year, and 307.858 million in the 22-23 financial year. They are to fund the following: oversight through committee systems, support funding to political parties, public participation, and the NCLP processes. Most importantly, my heartfelt appreciation goes out to you, the people of the Free State Province, for the opportunity and honor given to me and to us to implement government priorities. Honourable Speaker, with your wisdom, I hereby table the 2020 budget together with the associated appropriation bill. Kia leboa, I thank you.
Mohi ke mo mosebetsi wa rona wa letsatsi re o phethelang teng ho utlwaetse hore hlile province ya rona ya Free State e ikemiseditse ho ntshetsa province ya rona pele fela he mosebetsi ha o hloqalelle.
It's indeed all thanks to the Free State Provincial Government for a job well done. And from us at Hlasela TV, I am Neo Potani.
Yenwa ya buang ke Thenjiwe ke na moradi wa Hamfeketho Mathato le Thatogatsi. Hopola hle hore Hlasela TV o itlisetswa ke Bombenero Investment ka mahano le mmuso wa rona province ya Free State. Re a tloha jwale kwano gari dem re khutlela hae Bloemfontein perengetso sengangata mangau.